Hey, welcome to Mori episode 16 here with Koma and Qbhall. Say hi.
Hi, folks.
Hi, how's it going?
So, we're talking about cons, and LucaCon was coming up this year with some guests. With like Urasawa and some other manga guy.
Also,
Oh yeah. Hmm?
you're saying these are upcoming comics?
Luca Comics, that's an Italian Comic Con basically, and some manga will appear like Urasawa, the manga
Oh,
from Monster, and then some other ones, also YouTubers and artists and all kinds of people, really.
Writers, comic book artists, westerners, like anything basically. But today, this in during this edition, there are going to be quite a lot of mangaka, big names like Naoki Urasawa, um, Osamaru Furuya. I don't know if you have read anything. I mean, you're sure. Shintaro Kago also.
Oh, Kago, yeah, I know him. I know him. I've read some stuff.
Kago
Dimension
has come to
21.
Luca many times actually.
Mm.
Also, Keigo Shinzo, think there's nothing available in English by him.
Mm.
oh,
Don't know
even
if you.
even unofficially,
Hmm?
even
Probably.
even unofficially, because I know like a lot of stuff is unavailable officially, but unofficially, people.
Well, even unofficially, if some group has scanned and translated some of his works, I don't know.
Oh,
You
okay.
tell me. But what?
Mm.
I mean, the presence of Urasawa alone is huge
Yeah, that makes
because
some headlines.
it's the first time he goes there, I think, and being one of the most appreciated mangaka out there, many people are hyped. I believe he came before in Europe, like in the UK a few years
Mm.
ago,
In
but in
Angoulême in
Italy,
2019 in France, he was. I
oh, but,
saw him there.
oh, I bet. Have you got like a sign or something, or?
By him? No, no, no. I just saw him. I had no ticket. I was just too busy with waiting for Nie. That also took a long time to get to. So
Oh, Nie and Urasawa at the same convention, the
yeah,
same year. Wow, that's huge. That's
yeah,
really
yeah. It
big.
was big. Yeah, yeah. It was also the manga of Yatsura. Yatsura, Yatsura again. You ain't well, Loom. The maker of
Oh,
that, like the
Urusei
first
Takashi, Rumiko Takashi.
bingo, yeah, the female mangaka for the first, well, one of
Mas-
the richest mangaka, basically, richest woman on the world.
yeah,
I
she is
remember.
very, very famous. Like she did Rama,
Mm,
Maison Ikoku, Inuyasha.
mm,
Those
mm.
series are really famous. Many say that Maison Ikoku is her masterpiece. I don't know if you have watched it or read it.
I saw some covers of it. Yeah, it looked it's a bit of slice of life that I saw.
Uh, and regarding Urusei Yatsura, Oshi did a couple of movies. I watched
Mm.
the second one. He did a Beautiful Dreamer, I believe is the title.
Ah, yeah, that was with an uh, Machimuru? No, who did that again? Also a famous director for anime movies. Who was it again? Also did Angel's Egg. Mamoroshi? Maybe. Don't remember.
Yeah, it was directed by Urusei Yatsura 2, Beautiful Dreamer. It was directed by Mamoru Oshii.
Mm. Yeah, okay, okay, okay,
It's
yeah,
a
that's
trippy
right.
movie, very trippy actually. You
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
haven't watched,
yeah, of course it would be with him. Yeah, even if for something like Yatsu, yeah, yeah. Oh well. Could watch that someday, or maybe it pops up at a convention or some event. But yeah,
Well,
You
I
are also
know.
going to a convention in the Netherlands this
yeah. This
soon.
Saturday I'm going to one Amsterdam Expo, and on the night to a different place in Amsterdam, I'm going to see Mind Game in the cinema. So it's gonna be a busy day, but hey, it's Mind Game. You have to see it in cinema, so of course I'm gonna watch that. Probably, maybe have somebody with me. I don't know yet, but I hope so. It's a pretty big con for Amsterdam. Then I mean, we have a bigger one in Utrecht, but this one is also with like cosplay and all the other cons you already know, and probably some comic artists, but no mangaka. We never really have mangaka really in any Dutch comic cons or anything like that. It's just more in America or like Italy, France, but none here, unfortunately.
But manga is spread there in the Netherlands as well, or not? Like,
I mean, it's popular, but we don't have our own market like Italy or France does. So yeah, it's more the English side that really sells here, just like any other major part of the manga world, basically. Yeah.
So enough people speak English that a lot of the manga is just brought over in English. It's not translated into.
Well, here in the Netherlands, we do speak English most of the time.
Okay.
Well, most of the time, we're like the one of the rare oddities that can actually do English. Like France, Italy, and all the other countries can't do any English except England, but England can also do any other languages. So, like it's only the Netherlands that really can do English.
Okay.
We had a market once in Dutch manga. We had that once that we translated manga into Dutch, but it's like 15 years ago now, and it didn't sell well because we're a small country, so that yeah, it just didn't sell that much, so we can continue. So that was pity. But oh well, we have enough stores in here that just sell manga and try to sell manga. We also have a lot of stores that sell Dutch comics, or well, French comics translated in Dutch, but they never get finished because nobody wants to nobody wants to have translated comics from French to Dutch because those don't translate that well. So nobody is really buying those. And manga is way more popular. So yeah, so a lot of that stuff gets canceled, or you just buy two volumes and then she just doesn't go on anymore. So you have to read it in French or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of a problem with that. But oh well,
Well,
it's gonna be probably a fun day, I guess, or at least a lot to do.
about Urasawa, what I know the most is Monster. Um, that was I'm sure you're familiar with it. Monster.
Yeah, what's it? What do you mean?
Or but that the mangaka of that is who's gonna be at our convention, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be on Luca 23. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was popular here among fans at the time. You know that I never quite I didn't quite get as much into 20th Century Boys. I
Mm.
don't know if you've read that one. Have you read all that one?
I mean, I know it obviously, and but I haven't read it. It's one of those manga you can't really read. You can only read once because the ending is a bit lackluster.
Right.
And that's
That's what I was wondering because I was constantly waiting on like a big twist, because it kind of builds up as that,
mm-hmm.
and I mean there's a lot of twists in Monster, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I was at the time I had some difficulty understanding why the guy was why exactly the guy was so evil. I know they had a segment where they showed kind of the birth of a monster. I don't know if you remember you had watched the anime. That is what I saw. I didn't really.
Birth of a Monster, the monster anime. Yeah, I watched the anime like a few years ago, so I still remember it, majority.
But yeah, I think I mean, look, endings are hard, wrapping everything up in a satisfying way that most
Yeah,
people will like is hard. So I don't.
yeah, it's not really an ending that you would expect out of it. You would really think from, oh, and he is now going to kill him. Nope, it's just a random dude that's getting him, but bit of a spoiler who hasn't read Monster, but you don't know who, so
Yeah, I, I
whatever.
I don't know if you ever saw The Wire, but there was a guy that he was built up as this this amazing criminal, nobody could get him, and at the end of the day, it was just some kid in a pharmacy or something that shot him, like because
Mm.
that was kind of the
Just some
life.
random, just some
Yeah,
random guy in a village that he tried to use as the perfect suicide, basically, that nobody knows him, the monster with no name. And that man actually saw him for who he truly was, a monster. The title we knew all along. I don't know, some
yeah,
people find it lackluster ending, but I don't know, if you think a bit more about it, you could probably get something out of it.
but
Many
I
people have.
I thought the whole journey was interesting and the like how they had a backstory for the cop that was chasing him. I didn't
Ah,
expect
Lundgren, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. That he
I didn't
lost
ex-
his wife, children, and had nothing but the case. He was just so obsessed with him, he had to catch him.
right, I didn't expect to have like a deep backstory for him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, you think, oh, he's a police guy, so why would it be any more interesting? But yeah, I mean, he really brought a lot of backstory to a lot of characters, and obviously the places where he went to, like Germany, Austria, or etc., etc., etc. In most anime, they don't even bother to really go in detail with the places they go to. Like you see some anime characters in America, like, well, we're in America, but the rest is just all Japanese stuff and just talking Japanese, etc., etc., etc. You don't see anything of America, so you're like, oh, it's not America. It's just fucking Japan. You don't show anything, and in here you actually show your different cities and different places, and just there's a lot of research done of it to really make it feel like you're in the place at the
Oh yeah,
time. So I mean that
that
stands out from the rest.
that was that was one of the first anime I watched that really felt like a globe hopping adventure, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Every episode is in some other exotic location.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah. It goes a
oh,
bit deeper than the rest.
that reminds me of I was watching some of um there's a Lupin movie for free on YouTube on the TMS official channel. Um, is one of the spin-offs of a woman called Fujiko Mine. The movie apparently there were three spin-off movies from it. So they have a higher budget. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the but it was I think it was directed by Takeshi Koike. Is that correct? Who did Red Line?
What was the name of the movie again?
What's is a Lupin movie. Jigen's Gravestone.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it. I know Lupin the Third, but yeah, no, it doesn't really ring a bell. But
Yeah, I think it's one of the newest ones. There's a
mm.
CG one, but it was before that. I don't.
Oh, the CG one,
No, no, no,
Lupin the Third.
no. Before that, not the CG
Oh,
one.
before.
Yeah.
Mm. Hmm.
That's no.
Yeah, no.
But I think Lupin really works best as hand drawn. Like the design is. I mean, it looked like it's made to be drawn. The
Yeah, 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 it just has a bit of a 3D style, but it looks 2D, but it's actually 3D, like something like with Chainsaw Man, for instance. It looks really 2D, but it is actually 3D.
oh the Lupin the Third, the woman called Fujiko Mine was from 2012, and I'm thinking it was just the other day, you know.
Yeah, it's just it seems so recent, but it wasn't actually. Yeah.
And like
Yeah, I get the feeling.
it seems like there's a bunch of Lupin shows coming out now. There's a 3D one.
Hmm.
Is there a live action Japanese one? I think
Yeah, so live action one might be.
there's a live action one on Netflix, but that is
Hmm.
not this one. That is a different Lupin. Like
Mm-hmm.
well, the character was based on a series of books from France, but then that version became its own thing, kind of, from what I see. Right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It because it seems like a very random thing for a Japanese, manga artist to choose. You know, here's this
Mm.
totally out of the way thing, and you know, I got
Yeah.
yeah, and that also too. I think it has a lot of there's a lot of globe hopping with it. You know, a lot of interesting locations and stuff. That is one thing that I thought was uh was cool about it. It was like a James Bond kind of a thing, you know.
Yeah. Lots of the stories was like a bit of James Bond, like the very first one was kind of like saving the princess out of the castle, going on a mission, etc. Yeah, there's a bit of a James Bond feel to it. Yes, escaping from a plane, escaping from a train, etc. Yeah. I mean, at some point, there was even a thing somewhere on YouTube. Somebody said, like, there was a Lupin the Third storyboard that was made in a castle with an angel or something like that. But that was scrapped, and instead they made Angel's Egg. So there was actually a scrapped Lupin the Third
Oh,
story, would that be? But it became Angel's Egg or something. I heard like something like that. In any
so
case,
that
there was a storyboard that had something going like that with a castle, with an angel, but that was changed into what you would see Angel's Egg,
that is
basically
like a
today.
very bizarre. What has there ever been any supernatural element in Lupin?
Not
Like
that I know of.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I don't. You know much about Lupin or Akuma?
Koma is not connected for some reason.
Oh
I don't
what?
know.
Okay.
Yeah, he jumped out and 5-7 minutes ago, so I don't know what happened to him, but probably will return at some point. So
Yeah, but well, my first exposure, like many people, was the Castle of Cagliostro, but I know there were many adaptations before that, like a long running anime series, and even the series Miyazaki was involved in a few episodes, from
Guys,
what I understand.
Chip.
can you hear me?
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
You
was
skipped
still
out.
here. You saw me offline, but I'm still here.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you. We're disconnected for some reason.
No, I wasn't. I could have. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Uh,
Sorry, viewers, technical shit that we can't understand. I can't understand also. Go ahead, carry
Oh,
on.
but I was
yeah, we're
asking
talking
about
about
if
Lupin third.
yeah, if you follow any of the Lupin stuff,
Hmm?
Lupin the Third.
Lupin the third. If you ever follow any of the series movies.
I watched some of the anime when I was a child, basically because in Italy we got it was one of the most famous anime on television. But I also watched some of the movies, but that was many years ago. I remember not much. The one about Fujiko Mine, I know you mentioned it before. It's a good movie. I need to watch it. I mean, everyone says that is a good movie, and they have recommended it to me. Maybe we can watch it one day together also on
Oh
a
yeah,
movie.
Maybe a movie night or something like
Yeah,
that.
that is a good idea.
it, is actually for free on one of them is actually for free on TMS
Oh,
channel on YouTube right
Mm.
now for a while.
Oh.
I don't think it's, but I think they actually put it up there to advertise the new Netflix Lupin. You know, which is
mm,
it's kind of interesting. It's like, yeah, this is like a totally different guy, but we're using it to advertise something, something else. You know,
Okay.
it's just
Maybe I can find that one and see if it works on my end. And we can stream that one day.
yeah, it's I'm not sure if it'll be. I'm not sure how long it'll be up there. By the time
It's a temporary thing.
yeah, you could but if you do it next week, you could probably do it. I'm not sure,
Mm.
but it's only but it's only like I think it's like 50 minutes. Is I think it's one of three movies they made.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay, okay,
oh,
okay.
let me know if you decided to watch it on a movie night.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. Well, on other news, I'm going to do a series on a bunch of videos on all the anime that's Nie ever made. So from 2003 to now, basically, till kinda. I'm gonna split them up. Like the first video is gonna be like Blame 2003 and 2007. After that, it's gonna be Sidonia, then the Blame movie, and then kinda. Basically, I'm just going through that.
Okay,
So I
that's
just need to have some research for each video. Probably gonna start with the first one and then go on. I don't know how many I'm gonna upload each week or like one each week or something like that. I don't know yet, but yeah,
but
probably gonna be interesting.
did you finish what was that the latest one? Kaina?
Kinda, yeah.
Kaina? Yeah. Did you finish it?
Well, the movie will drop in a few days, like the 13th, I thought. Yeah, the 13th from top of my head. So if that is gonna drop, then I can make a video out of it or just with the series. I finished the series, but you know, it seems that the movie has a bit more to offer, lot more than the series did. So I hope that's gonna be good. But hey, who knows?
But is actually a finale to the series or is a
Yeah. That's the ending to the whole thing because he already started a new series, Tower Dungeon. We only have an wait. Let me look that up. Actually,
okay? Well, I
it's a
think
new
you might
manga
be.
by Nia.
I think you might be. I don't know. Maybe you want something. Want to do something different from cyberpunk horror for the next couple for the next series. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's going more towards the fantasy, basically. Like kind of a lot of um lots of fantasy stuff going for it, like the armor, the swords, the saving the princess, etc., etc. And Tower Dungeon is also gonna be like a nobody, a farmer saving a princess in a tower that once fell from the sky. Probably sea chip, probably has a lot of
yeah.
technology in it, and that's all we know about it, really. But and it's also gonna drop this month or next month. No, it's gonna drop this month. I thought. Yeah, the
No,
first
wait.
chapter.
These are manga, right?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So because there's a Kaina manga too, but I think I don't even know if it continues because
yeah,
um
that's probably gonna continue. Volume 3 came out not too long ago, just
okay,
a few days ago.
because I was wondering if they only did a few to promote the series because the series overtook it like at once. At the time that when the series was coming out, I think the manga was actually like far behind.
Yeah, the manga came out first as as a sort of just to sell more and get more publicity for the anime. But the anime is like the main thing because the manga is done by another artist, but the ideas and the story, etc., designs are all by Nie. Same for the anime story and all from Nie, but basically just an anime and the backgrounds are from Nie, ideas and etc. There's a lot of Nie stuff.
Right. Yeah. I guess he was working on the other manga. Or
Yeah,
maybe
at the same time, I
Oh
guess.
yeah, a fantasy, right? It was recently announced that he's going to
Yeah,
work
this
on
one.
a fantasy series.
Yeah, goes way more into fantasy, but I guess it's still NDA, so he's probably gonna do um
a twist.
probably
Some kind
gonna do science fiction. Obviously, it's gonna be a mix of the two. You want to do fantasy for like a long time, even in Biomecha, you had some in the second part, some fantasy elements with like armor and fighting with swords, etc. etc. It's just a bit of sci-fi, bit of fantasy, but you really want to go towards that eventually.
what was the other one he had made in between? Um,
After
with
kinda, you mean?
Opossums.
Apossimus, yeah, Apossimus was before kinda, yeah. That
Right.
was literally just sci-fi basically. There was no there was no fantasy really in there.
But I mentioned it because he had like a lot of there were like a lot of designs like knights with spears and that and armor.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, kinda. Yeah. I mean, yeah, kinda had the design, yeah, somewhere. Some enemies had like a horse with them and had some kind of armor and etc. Yeah, they had some kind of designs going on. Not really themes, I would say, but some designs. The majority was just sci-fi like you normally see. Here's it more like a landscape out of what's the game called? Shadow of the Colossus, basically, just with this giant bridge, just leads to no man's land, basically. And it is probably in the background, it's probably the tower, but I don't know. It doesn't have too much detail, unfortunately. That's just NEA nowadays, so I don't know.
I think he also wanted to try a different style too. I think he was
Yeah, I was
maybe
tired of Black after 10 years with COS. And he also said in a deleted tweet that his daughter was not a fan of Blame and wanted more something like Attack on Titan, the heresy. Okay, your own daughter, the file Blame like that. It's truly sad, but
I
oh
don't know.
well.
I think I hear that kind of stuff a lot. The creator of like this amazing thing has some kid that doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Um,
By the way, I have a curiosity. Apart from Blame, which Nie manga do you think is the best he has made so
Probably
far?
story wise more biomecha, but it was a bit at the end a bit too much stuff shoved in to get the most theories and the most stuff in there just to get everything in there. It was a bit rushed at the end of the thing. It was just only 6 volumes. If you made like Blame like 10 volumes, then you would have more room and more more to breathe and more to really think about the stuff he put in. And then it would work better, I guess. But plot wise, I guess Biomecha did it then better. I mean, Blame still is his most influential work, but plot wise, it's a bit more like a bit lackluster and with the emotions, etc., etc., etc. Like I told it 1,000 times, but yeah,
What about Knights of Sidonia? Do you like it?
yeah, nah, it's a bit too mainstream. It's just a guy that gets every girl he wants basically, and that barely does anything for it. Yeah, sure, he's the hero and he can do everything, etc., etc., etc. But it's a bit too mainstream. But I thought back then that was his worst stuff. But I mean that's now even better than what we have now with like each work it just got less and less and less. With a Posthumous, you still have some lore, you still have some stuff, but it got less. The details got less, everything got less basically. And it kind of was like on an all-time low. It's just the most easiest plot you could think of and the most slowest thing you could think of from him. Basically, just a child of 5 could understand it. Basically, it was a nice anime to watch, but there was not much going on that really would intrigue you or want to watch or read the rest.
Yeah,
Really.
I
I
get the
see.
feeling that I don't know the edit. I don't know how much power the editor has, but like I get the feeling he getting some sort of pressure to make things a little more accessible. Because it would explain how each one is a little more uh simple and less.
Yeah.
You know. But I didn't. I thought that Possums had like some interesting ideas too. You know, I view all of these as different attempts to see life elsewhere in the universe. So each that's why I guess each one is different because in China, surely there's some kind of terraforming going on, but it's been so long, these people can't recognize it.
The technology is just lost, and the builders is all that's left, or
Right.
that we know of.
And opossums also had a kind of hint at some connection, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah, to Sidonia. Yeah, in a volume of Sidonia, there was one page that said that the Optimus was lost, and the last comment was to Sidonia, like goodbye and have safe travels or something like that. And then it went off, never to be seen again. And then his next work is called Optimus. Oh, and also, fun fact: the site where Sidonia was on was called Opossums dot JP. So he had Opossums for a long time, and that was 2011. So he had Opossums for a long time on his mind to make that into a series. So you know that's probably the ship that came, like what Opossums became is probably the ship that got lost, the seed ship that got lost, got on a planet, and terraform that basically. Or that whole thing is the planet, or is the ship in a sense. I don't know. Maybe the core of that is like the computer of the original ship, something like the
ah,
AI in Toei Heavy Industries. Blame that the AI just went rogue and tried to transport the ship to explore other parts of the universe, like in Sidonia. But that's all theory stuff.
no, that is interesting. He might have. I wonder. I think he probably puts in stuff to kind of give himself a out. Like
Yeah,
he plans stuff that he may or may not use.
yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I can get
Yeah,
why. Yeah, yeah, it
like
just has
Koma.
some ideas of titles of concepts that you want to reuse. Like for a Posmus, at the end of the manga, you got a sort of net sphere that people get digitally transferred to a digital world, and everybody can live happily there. This is something that you like saw like in Blame of Netsphere that people need to have this gene in order to enter. But in the Posmus, it's even so easy. You could just die, go to the world, and you just live happily after. Basically.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Like I think of it as well. You personally will still have to die, right?
Mm.
I mean, like a copy of you will live on, but that's not
Yeah,
you, right?
it's just a digital copy of you just lives in
Yeah.
this planet, literally.
You know, yeah, like I think we mentioned Soma a lot of times, and that was kind of the central one of the central ideas from it.
Mm.
You know, but well, I always, despite I didn't really mind I didn't mind Kaina as much as I know you don't like the. Is it really? I wonder. Is it really a reduction in the amount of time it takes to produce it, or is it
I
just different?
mean, it's still Nie, still knows how to draw, and still some of the spreads or pages still some are nice, but it lowers his detail. I mean, it works for like a snow environment that everything is just covered in white, but I don't know. It's just some of the chapter, like the pages for a new chapter were just really low detailed and had nothing going on that was really interesting. I'm like, come on, you could have used anything to make that any more interesting, for instance. So yeah, he just had a bit not, it could have used a bit more detail to really flesh it out and choose to believe in it. But I guess he did that for too long, so he didn't want to do something else. And I don't know if this manga is gonna be having any more detail. If I look at this, I guess the characters have the most detail, and the environment is just like, something like this. But and maybe this title is gonna be the same as the last one, as Skyline, just as simple as it's gonna be, or a bit more interesting. But let's hope it's gonna be a bit more interesting than Kaina, because he knows if he wants to make money, he needs to make it a bit more interesting and not slow all the time, or just it doesn't go anywhere, obviously. But he uses the same plot of saving the princess again, a bit like Mario. Maybe he's been playing all this time Mario, and that's how he came to the idea. But who knows?
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
So,
what have you watched, Qbhall or Koma or anybody?
Yeah, you can go ahead, Koma.
I haven't watched much. I mean, I'm watching Noir, that anime. I believe I talked about it last time, perhaps. I don't remember, but it's one of those series from the early 2000, girls with guns, basically. It's about those two girls who are assassins, and Noir is basically the code name for two assassins, and we still do not know the story of the origin of Noir, because there's this girl which is the more little of the two, and she doesn't know her past, and basically all we know is that her background was made up, and she meets with this other girl, and basically she is connected, they are connected, but still we do not know why. And I'm still it's a 26 episodes long series, and I am at episode 9 right now, and it's still very foggy. We know very little so far, because I'm watching it with a friend. That's all I'm watching. I've read a couple of books. The first one is a French graphic novel from Manu Larsenet called in Italian is Lo Scontro Quotidiano, but it came out digitally in English. The title is Ordinary Victories. It's about this guy who is a photographer. He used to work as a war photographer, but it got tired of that and tried to do other stuff. And the story allows us to know him more about his persona, his problems, and his past also. And after quitting being a photographer for that kind of field, he started doing pictures of the wharf where his father used to work. And it's a place that is disappearing because time is going on, and that kind of line of work is not necessary anymore. So in a way, it's a story about transition and how times change. And there is also a message about politics because there are references to the war in Algeria, which is, as far as I know, a big deal for French history. Of course, I know little about it because I am not French, but so it's an interesting story, and it can resonate with many people, I think. So if you have the opportunity or want to try something different, it's available digitally. in English, Ordinary Victories by Manu Larsenet. The other is a manga. It's from Jiro Taniguchi. I don't know if you are like if you have read anything from him or not. It's not that famous in English. I mean, the series, the book that I've read is available. It has been published. It's A Distant Neighborhood. Any of you guys have read anything from Taniguchi or not?
No.
But you could always put it in the Discord chat, so we'll have a record of it.
So basically, it's a mangaka who is more famous in France and in Italy, especially in France, because this series alone, A Distant Neighborhood, apparently has sold like 300,000 copies since it was first published. For a manga, it's an enormous amount. Don't you agree? It's so much. And they also did a live action, or a movie, if you prefer to call it a movie, based on this story in France, which is like amazing for me. But basically, this it's more celebrated in France because I guess his style is less Japanese. But of course, you can recognize that it's a manga. The art is still derivative, it's still a manga. But I mean, maybe the way the story and the overall style is more European. Some people call him the most European mangaka out there. And as far as I know, or because I've read in and after at the end of the book, they explain that during his career his career had two phases. The first one, which includes this book, was more about slice of life, the family, the time, the nostalgia of things. And the other one was more about violence and thriller like stories like Tokyo Killers, for example. I don't know if it's available in English, but basically he did many things that are not simple slice of life. But the slice of life itself, and this book, especially A Distant Neighborhood, I mean, maybe is one of the best manga I have ever read in my entire life. I don't know, maybe I resonate so much in this story. Basically, it's about this guy, which is a middle-aged salaryman, who for one reason or another find himself taking the wrong train, and basically it goes in his old hometown, which he didn't visit for many years. And since he went there, he decided to visit his mom's tomb. He go there to pray, and I don't know, we don't know why. Maybe it was something spiritual or divine. But the next time after praying, he was inside his 14 years old body. So he basically traveled back in time, maintaining his memories and his conscience as an adult. So the story is about him living again his life as a 40-year-old boy, and all the events of his youth that he forgot. And also because he has all the knowledge of an adult, things are different now.
So a bit like Erased.
Yeah, it's basically, you don't know if you ever dreamt of going back in the past and fix all the problems of your life, choosing another path in life. Basically, it's about that, but not just that. It's much more. So if you want to read story about the past and also about life itself, all the things that define life. This is perfect because there's a bit of everything. Sorry, I've talked for too long.
Oh well, I do that too. So,
But
no
if
worries.
since it's available in English, although the English edition I'm told it's flipped, unfortunately. So, but I guess you can also read it online. But check it out. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. What's
I
the
don't
name
say
again?
that a distant neighborhood by Jiro
It is Neighborhood. Okay.
Okay.
Taniguchi.
You,
Trust me, I don't say that something could be my favorite manga or one of my favorite manga quite often. So
or could
give
you,
me
No,
a
no, no. Yes.
chance.
you could you paste it in the Discord too? Um, thanks. Yeah. The would you? Uh, I forgot. How much is that you regard? What was it? YKK. Because that currently
Yoko
have.
Takashi
I
Kiko.
know this one. Wait, I know this author. He did The Summit of the Gods. Yeah, I know this one.
Yeah, it's the same author. He did many things.
Or is Summit of the Gods the one that was made into a Netflix movie?
Yeah, there was a movie like last year or something, or a year before that was a movie like with a French studio.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie though.
There's an anime made of it. A movie.
Yeah, also you can see the art. It's really unique in a way. Like
Yeah, also really detailed.
it's
I
very
know, I know, I
detailed.
know.
I mean, the Venice art book is amazing. If you have ever had the chance to see it.
Yeah, I have the art book. I bought it in Italy when last year, I think. Yeah, last year I bought it. Yeah, on my trip. Yeah, that was also an amazing art book. Yeah, I also did some sci-fi work for like 2 volumes.
Yeah, Icaro with Mebius, he did that story also.
Fortunately, it was never finished, but yeah, we have a couple of his manga in English in hardcover, for instance. Also, the Louvre, he also made a manga of that.
Yeah.
Then the Summit of the Gods, and maybe someone else. And the Summit of the God was also in hardcover in French. I know that for like a
In
couple of years
France,
now.
he's like one of the most celebrated mangaka in France. No joke.
Yeah, I saw it like everywhere. It's just the hardcover copies coming up.
I
Maybe he
mean,
was a very young villain, but I don't know.
300k volumes sold for a
Mm.
manga.
Mm.
I mean, who else can get those numbers apart from, I don't know, One Piece or
Yeah,
something
no, a
like
lot
that?
of mangaka can really do that, especially with like the themes he tackles and how not making it for kids or anything like that. So, like many other authors try to do. Yeah, no, that's a real feat, obviously. I mean, yeah, there's other manga that also have done it, like with Bleach or like Chainsaw Man, etc., etc., etc. But it's like it's not for everybody, obviously, but still good stuff, obviously. Like with what was the series called again? I forgot. Whatever.
Oh, but Koma, you had liked YKK too, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So how do you think this stacks up to that? Because I think YKK is probably my favorite of
I mean, there are, of course, things in common, like because both talk about the past among the other things, but they are quite different apart from being slice of lives. I don't
but
think. Hmm?
uh, uh, well, the reason I mention it is because it's both a slice of life, yes, but with a supernatural or scientific twist.
Yeah, this is more about supernatural because the way it goes back to the past that has nothing to do with technology or anything like
Right.
that. So it's just something divine, maybe, because he goes to a temple praying.
Well,
And
I would say though that YKK has it has I think it's supernatural elements. You know.
yeah, he has like the Misago and all
Yeah.
the other things. There are like sort of oniric.
Yeah. I think like that is something I find interesting. Like I get the idea that the distant neighborhood has some of that too. Like uncertainty of many things. Like
But
there's this unexplained things.
I mean,
But
to
not too much.
me, Yokohama Kedashi Kiko is more about enjoying the little things about this world, and maybe thinking every now and then of the things that are no more. But this is more realistic and is about this guy reliving his life and the event of his childhood. Childhood. So I don't know.
So it's for the most part it's more grounded. There's only one supernatural thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
basically only the way it goes back in time.
okay.
And the rest is like a realistic story. I mean, apart from him coming from the past, from the future, the rest is very, very realistic. It's it covers many things. I don't want to spoil the
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
But if you feel like reading something that is like, if you want to check out a slice of life in general, this is a good pick if you haven't read it already. So
I was actually looking for like for manga that had like as I mentioned slice of life but with supernatural elements or science fiction elements. What was that one with the aliens? They did
I mean destruction.
from
right.
Inyozano, yeah, the one
Yeah.
with the aliens and the Earth invaded by aliens.
Yeah, there's that, and I was also reading that one with the bird guy. Pun is it? Uh,
Oh yeah,
um,
sorry,
Ah,
Pum Pum.
yeah.
Good
yeah,
night, Pum Pum. Yeah.
Good night,
yeah,
Pokemon. Yeah, that's more
So I
the
mean,
more depressing stories, you could say.
yeah.
Bit more
But that
relationship based.
the the only abnormal thing with that is that he's drawn like that. But there's never any explanation for that. That's just a thing. Like I guess it's supposed to be a stand-in for the reader because you could kind of project onto it. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
That's kind of how
kind
I
of just
imagined it.
yeah.
You know.
It's kind of a projection of himself or something like that. I haven't read the manga, but I know spoilers of it, and that's yeah. It's a really well known manga for like fans that want a bit more depressing stuff, you could say.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I still I'm still looking for something to recapture the YKK. The only thing that came close was Mushishi, I think.
Mm.
You
Oh
know.
yeah. There's just not a lot of that genre that really sticks out or really does a lot. I mean, you have like what's it called again? Girls Last Tour, and there's another story that also kind of looks like it. Journey's End. That's also with two girls on a motorcycle just roaming around in a desolate world. It's also kind of like, and it's based in Yokohama, literally, or they go to Yokohama, so maybe give that a shot. It's
Oh,
also a bit depressing and cute, but
is World Soren is what I think I had the is that the name of it? The one that I read, I think it was translated as World's End Soren. And
yeah. World's End Tour, yeah.
right, okay.
Was it World's End Tour? Yeah.
And there's a actually like I think these manga have made like a lot of people try that genre because I think there's at least two. There's a couple more.
Yeah, you have like laid back camp has like a bit of the atmosphere going on, and what's it called again? Izumi no Hate. Also probably blame inspired. Also a girl just walking around. Also has this atmosphere going on. A
That is the
bit
one.
less than I guess, but
That is the one. And there's one called strawberry something. That's no, I'll find it.
100% strawberry or something. I don't know. I know I'm on another manga that is like that, but those are more for rom com, just your average harem anime or manga.
No, this is definitely not that.
Mm.
I don't know if you guys are fans of the Alien series, by the way.
Any?
Uh,
Oh yeah, you showed it us last time. Yeah, with the really detailed art. Yeah, I know what you mean.
no, no, but there's I don't know if you guys know. Well, there's there's Alien 3, which was the studio was getting too involved in it, uh, and it was heavily changed from the original script.
Uh,
And they've made a comic based on the original script of it. Um, so
okay.
that is I thought that was an interesting thing because we're never going to see this in film form, and it's kind of a waste to have you have a completed screenplay that is probably better than the movie that we got.
Mm.
So they made this thing. So in this one, you're familiar with the alien law at all? Either
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen the movies.
yeah. How about you, Koma?
No.
Okay. Well, at the end of Aliens, they saved, apart from Ripley. Well, they must know Ripley, the star. They saved some people. There was a girl, and like they killed her off unceremoniously in Alien 3 in the movie. And but
Make
in
a
this
copy
one,
of her.
sorry.
Make a clone of her.
Oh no, no,
Or
they
you
just
mean? Oh no, the clone also got killed, and then an
oh no,
alien
it wasn't
clone with
it,
mixed
it
with
wasn't a clone.
DNA with her.
It wasn't a clone of Ripley. It was just a little girl that because she was away for so long that remember people in cryo sleep for decades in some of these trips. So her daughter had actually grown up and old. So this was like a kind of an adopted daughter, but they killed her off unceremoniously in Aliens 3, but in the adaptation she actually lives in the
Mm.
alternate adaptation. So it's like an alternate history of what else could have happened there.
Yeah,
And
yeah, okay, okay.
because the alien series right now is kind of a mess. Um,
Yeah, yeah. It goes from philosophical to survival horror, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, it goes through all these different phases in a way.
yeah. Oh, the other thing I was reading was Wild Strawberry. Kind of a
Mm.
weird name. Kind of a weird name, but they is also taking place in like a overgrown in like a city, but instead of like overgrown with tech, is overgrown with uh like man killing plants. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that might be something interesting to check out.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Um,
mean, latest thing I've done is found another YouTuber yesterday that's going all over all these click adventure games from the 90s, like these really weird click adventure games. The games that you forget, or like, something going on, like with the maker of Dream Emulator, for instance. He had two other games he made in the 90s, and it was also as weird as those, but they're more comprehensible. Let me see the names of him again. Forget.
but that LSD game is I know it's kind of like a cult game. Yeah, well, looking at it, what is the like you had to put all games have like an epilepsy warning, but they had to put like an extra big one for this one. Like, look at that. And I just a screenshot, I almost ready to freak out right now.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's just it doesn't have any logic to it. You just go from place to place if you hit any wall or anything at all, and just go. Yeah, it's basically just when you have LSD and you just have a really weird trip and you just have this. That's basically what LSD Dream Emulator is. And then you had two other games that had something more interesting going on. What was the game again?
Oh, but
Oh yeah,
I
this
saw.
one. Tong Nao and Chong Teng, Easter Mind, Lost Souls of Tong Nao. There was a bit more comprehensive uh, series, basically. It's about somebody, a gnome, nee, not a gnome, golem. Like, you know those golems, those clay golems with no soul, no anything, and just run on commands, basically, like a bit of
Right.
Jewish folklore. Now, well, one is put in this world, this, oh no, there's another game. Anyway, no, it's another game. No, it's somebody that's lost his soul thanks to an entity, gets transported to another world, and tries to find his soul again. And it's also this really trippy world, basically. Let me find.
Oh, I saw on the sidebar just now in you. That is
Yeah,
I need to watch that too.
here. Like this is the developer, the head's developer, and that's just basically the HUD. Then you can go in his eyes, his nose, his cheeks, his ears, go into different parts of a world, and you try to find this king, and this king can get your soul back. It's a really trippy thing, which is lots of exploring, lots of weird creatures, and can a couple of hours out of it. But it actually has logic, and it actually has an end, and it actually has a story going on. But I can send the video
Oh
in the
yes.
Discord. That's a really weird game, basically. But it's nothing like Dream Emulator. Dream Emulator had no logic. This has logic, at least.
I think the early days of the PS1 especially, people were trying like a lot of experimental things that they wouldn't try now. Or maybe like they would try it on a in an indie game.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like I think modern indie games are kind of a return to the experimentation, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Back
Um,
in the day, they were just experimenting with everything, how to make a game, basically, with all the 3D that they could use and whatnot. They were just, making up as they went, basically. Just had no clue really how to really make a game like they do now with all the AAA games and whatnot. And now just any indie game can be experimental and can be good or bad, but not all experimental games can be all that good because everybody is doing it. So yeah, some are really still more out there, which is more interesting than others, obviously. But that goes for everything. But well, you get what I mean. It's just a really It's just a fun experience. The first game was a fun experience. That was officially licensed in 94, I think. And then just a year later, they got the second one out, but it was only Japanese. And then just in 2020, 4chan got to translate the whole thing, and it's all right. It has the same style, but not the same real story. It's just a bit more cookie cutter and a bit more copy paste. You could well, not really copy paste. You need to
uh,
go a lot of backtracking to get certain items or produce certain things. So it just kind of fall flat on its face,
but
basically.
the fourth thing that I see is somebody's playing it on Scum V, so is not PS1, is a PC game.
Well, the first game was Dream Emulator was
PS1.
PS1, and this one no, this one is DOS. It was
Ah,
done
okay.
on DOS.
Oh well, that's surprising. That's kind of surprising because I mean, Japanese, they usually don't make games for that. Um,
No,
that is also unusual. I wonder if he did that because it was more free to do what he wanted.
yeah, I guess you could just do a lot more experimentation, and the PS1 just drew them too much back, because you can only do that so much with a console with that kind of technology. And DOSBox could do a lot more, but was a lot more finicky, not that stable. And the last time I tried to get that to work was a pain in the ass. Didn't get anything to work, basically, just a few mini games and nothing else.
Oh, I read out Leviathan, by the way. I
Ah,
thought,
you read?
yeah,
What do you think of it?
yeah, I definitely think it was interesting. I like the idea of but I like these kind of humans against the endless vacuum of space. I think we mentioned did we mention Aniara? There's a
Nira?
yeah, is a show set is a movie set on a ship that's supposed to go from Earth to Mars, but something
Mm-hmm.
happens and is not able to reach Mars, and like our object in space, if it's moving, is never gonna stop if it's on the wrong trajectory. So
Mm.
if you don't have a way to if you don't have any engine, any force, you're just gonna veer further and further off course.
Mm.
The ship that was only supposed to sustain them for like I don't know, maybe a couple month journey is now has to be kind of converted into something that could sustain life indefinitely. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's very very dark. Is
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Aniara. If you want to look it up, is really something else. Is one of the
Mm.
darkest movies I've seen. But just like when you're lost in space, you can't. There's nowhere we could go. The resources that we have on the ship are all that exists. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was it called?
Aniara, Aniara.
Um.
Yeah, is live action by the way. So, but it
Oh
reminded me of
yeah, wait. Yeah, you showed it last time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You showed it last time. It was a really dark movie. And yeah, it's not a movie you
yeah,
want to be depressed and then watch it.
right, yeah, you had to be at 100%. Uh, I mean,
But yeah, with Leviathan also had some a bunch of questions. We still don't know who killed the first teacher. Maybe it was the girl after all that killed it first, and then after that, the boy took over, and just his mental stability just dropped and just went on, and it just was just all made up in his head. But just his
right,
version was made up in his head, but still was the reality. It was
right,
just a
because
made up version of
there,
reality.
there, because there's at least two people on the ship who are already unstable, right?
Hmm.
So either one of them could have uh, could have freaked out in the beginning,
Yeah.
right? Because we don't really have a record, objective record. All we have is the book,
Yeah, and the ship's AI later on, where they
right?
show the real reality on what happened to everything. And
Yeah,
yeah, but then you have the Hellbot that just puts up all these traps. But I'm like, where the hell does he get all this stuff? He just has blades coming out of the walls and whatnot, like an Indiana Jones movie, where you just have a storage of blades that's just coming out. I mean, yeah, you're sure it is manga, but it just doesn't make any more sense. Like, how the fuck do you
yeah.
get that? Just a
I,
small detail, so it's just like, huh?
I like that. I like that. Yeah, like I always think about that in like in Ghost in the Shell. People remember like there were these like geisha bots that were freaking out and killing people, and somebody was asking me, well, why would they make these robots super strong too? There's no reason for
Yeah.
them to be, you know. But
No, they're
I'm
just gadget. They're just there for the entertainment and not much else.
right. So, but I'm thinking, well, why not make it strong? Because like I would be like, uh, it doesn't have to only be for that. You could help out around the house. You could lift up the couch when I'm vacuuming, underneath it. That kind of thing. I just think because it doesn't really take much difference. Uh, I mean, like, look at our phone. Look at how much functionality our phone has now, and most
Mm.
people don't use it. But it's just because it's so mass produced, you might as well put it in, right?
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
like I imagine in the world of Ghost in the Shell is similar to that with robots. Like just imagine a robot, like nearly everybody in the world is enhanced with cybernetic technology. So it's so commonplace now, right? That I
Mm-hmm.
imagine making a super strong geisha, but it's just we're making it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there's no reason to not do it. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think uh I don't know.
yeah.
Have you
Overall,
ever? Uh, oh, go ahead. Sorry, what is it?
yeah. I mean, overall, it was just a bit of what's it called? What's the movie called? Battle Royale. Battle Royale with like mix of like a bit of monster in there, something like that. But just a bit of a bit of alien maybe in there, a bit of Carpenter esque stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It was like it had really good art. It had some good ideas. It was not much going on, and it had some
Yeah,
twists. Like okay, I
yeah,
never expected that. And with like the main guy in the suit being part of the crew that later escaped, and just the boys delusions just haunting him and just makes it worse and worse and worse. And what would he accept? Human fate or just pure insanity and tries to survive himself and doesn't go anywhere?
yeah. I think
All that kind of stuff.
like I like that setting in stuff. There was an old sci-fi movie called I think Life Pod, where this guy is same situation. You know, they're on a they're on a tiny, but except instead of a whole ship, it was a tiny like a lifeboat, like a lifeboat,
Mhm.
but just like a tiny ship that has no propulsion. It's just meant to keep you surviving for a limited time until the real help arrives. And
Mm.
it quickly became degenerated into people killing each other because like one guy poisoned their already limited water supply, so that he could take out the rest of people,
Ah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that kind of stuff, and it's like how quickly that could degenerate, you know, and like
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are kind of innately have uh you know I don't know if I wouldn't have is it psychopathy if it leads to survival, like that may have been a thing that was necessary for survival, in
Yeah, 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 yeah,
you
yeah.
know in
Maybe. Yeah,
yeah, I mean in the cradle of humanity, who knows what people did, you know like why
yeah,
why is that why is that gene still present, it may have been necessary.
yeah, yeah. At some point, like being afraid of the dark might have been a thing from the Neanderthals when they were just afraid of the dark as something and launch at you and kill you. So they were just always afraid that somebody or something might be in the dark trying to kill you. So that's took over in other generations, and we still have the kind of the
Yeah,
fear, the primal fear of being afraid of the dark or being afraid for a place that you don't know about. Just being afraid of the unknown, like
yeah,
space.
I would argue it's still important, is but
Hmm.
I mean it's often irrational, yes, you know I mean what, even a lot of people don't even like to stick their feet off at the edge of their bed, you know
Yeah, yeah. Something
like
under the bed might grab them and might shove them
so
under,
just
basically.
just imagine all the times for that to be a primal fear like that, right? Just imagine all the times in history where there was something under the bed or the cave or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
dragging. That
And you
was
think
probably
like,
like
oh no, it's nothing. And then the next moment you're dead. Like fuck.
yeah, a saber-toothed tiger, whatever the hell, dragging you out,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that,
yeah,
I always imagine every primal fear is born of something that happened and somebody survived, and
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
somehow imprinted on
It
them.
had a function at one point in time for like a huge population or like a lot of people at a certain time period. And nowadays we're just so used that safety and whatnot, so it's just a leftover on that. And sometimes it can help you if you just really think that somebody is at home. I mean, there's a few instances. that somebody actually lived in somebody's house, like somebody's walls or the attic or the basement. And when you're done eating and you go to bed, they come out and then go to your food and try to eat cheaply, and just creepy. I know there's
Yeah.
one story that a guy had some set up some cameras after he noticed that every time he went to the toilet or whatnot, a food would be gone when he came back. Um, and it and when he reviewed the footage of the cameras, he saw that the closet behind him had a person in it. So every time he went out, the person came out of there, grabbed the food, went back in there. So when he reviewed the video, the closet was behind him, and I was just terrified. Like
Oh
the
man.
fucker could just have a knife with him and just launch up at him at that point, because he knows that he watched the footage, so he's fucked. But they got him eventually, so yeah. But that's still fucked up if you just
All right.
you never
So
know.
when you see that, and people telling you you're paranoid, you know, it only takes it only has to happen once for it not to be paranoia anymore.
Yeah,
As crazy as it sounds. I mean, how
it
many
can
things?
happen in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
instances.
Have you ever looked at um documents that were declassified? Uh,
Yeah, I mean from YouTube, yeah, that they talked about it. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
yeah, that stuff is interesting because, like, if I were to have said that at the time, I would have been called a conspiracy theorist, right?
Hmm.
But now is literally public knowledge because it's like they have like I think some of them,
Disclosed. It
yeah,
was
disclosed.
disclosed to the
You know,
to the public. Yes.
so like when I see that kind of stuff, I'm thinking, what? I feel I should be open to everything because I don't want to be calling somebody a conspiracy theorist now and then 60 years later. Um, oh yeah, apparently it was always that way. I was the stupid one for not believing it. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, with some things, I mean, yeah, some things are just born out of having no education or have no knowledge about the stuff, and thus conspiracy theory is born. Some of them are just really obvious, and just people are like, you know, just say it because they want to say it and don't really think about it. But I mean, there's also a lot of classified stuff, like with atomic bombs, for instance, that are accidentally dropped. Like there were lots of, it's like a whole book of like all the instances from the 70s, 80s, and 90s that bombs in America were just accidentally dropped
yeah, and
uh, in
there's one.
around
Uh,
America, for instance.
I think there's a
Like
couple of them that never even found. A couple of them lost forever.
Yeah, yeah, in the sea, for instance. Yeah, they just flew over the sea. Something went loose and just dropped, and just, well, it's stuck there and nobody can get to it.
Yeah, like I find that sort of stuff amazing. Like imagine all these thousands of flights that happen every day without incident, and this one is gonna have a problem. You better put you know what, this should be the baddest plane that I have. This is the best. This is the best plane that I have. You know, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bomber. They really
you know,
just,
you wanna
the most
use
secure thing.
another tie strap on that thing or something. Just tape it down a little more. The, surely, no expense was spared. Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just like, this freak accent sometimes. I mean, there was one, and like the majority of these bombs were empty, by the way. There had nothing in them. The majority of the time, there was just testings that just came loose for some fucking reason. But yeah, I mean, there was one in like, where was it? Somewhere in America
One of them is live.
that was loaded, by the way,
Yeah,
had
yeah,
all the switches left on, was dropped, had its parachute, but it was just stuck in a tree, like a few centimeters dangling from the ground, had all its kill switches left on, except one, and it could just level a whole state in one go. And that was just like somewhere in the 80s. I don't know what state it was, but
yeah.
that did
You know
happen.
what? If I was them, I would not be carrying these. If I carrying it around in the states, I'm not gonna be flying it in no plane. I just get like a train or something, a truck. You know, I want like people in front and behind. This don't be flying this shit
Everywhere.
around in the sky. This is
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I can't even say trains because trains being derailed. You know what? Make some kind of military train,
They
underailable
drop the
train.
bombs, so
You
that's
know,
probably not the safest thing. I guess if so many military planes has accidentally dropped bombs,
yeah.
military planes, then you have
You know what?
military atomic bombs.
It really makes me wonder about the phrase. You know, sometimes people advertise stuff as military grade. Like, what does that even mean now? Then, you know, the military grade plane is tumbling out of the sky. You know, the military
Hmm.
grade tie strap was busting, and you know, bombs were just falling all over the countryside. You know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just yeah, anything can happen basically. Just
So
whatever happens, happens basically. Even with the high tech stuff or like
yes,
type of bombs or like
so,
documents, for instance, like what Snowden, for instance. Yeah, he
yeah.
leaked away a lots of secrets back in the day, like
You know how
2011.
many people are like, you know, some people is be telling me stuff like, yeah, well, you know, I'm not doing anything bad anyway, so I don't really care if they're spying on me. It's like, what? That is not the point. You know, they shouldn't be spying on it to begin with. You know, but I'm
Hmm.
surrounded by yeah. I mean, like I'm using like a fire tablet even right now. You know, so that is Bezos has everything. You know, and I have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
you know, so even
yeah. I guess.
I am suspicious. Well, at least I have a tape over it. You know, so he's not gonna get you know any of my nudes or anything like that. But well, I
No,
mean,
no, no. But yeah,
well, that is just the
I
camera
mean,
that I know about. You know, he probably have another one I don't know about.
oh
But,
well. Yeah.
yeah, it's just
I mean, it's gonna even be more in the future, like with implants. I mean, we have what's he called again? Fuck, I'm forgetting everything. Elon Musk, for instance. Yeah, he bought the first AI implant in humans to consumable market to enhance stuff for instance like autism or other stuff. Well, not autism presumably, but some mental stuff they can solve that way. I don't know what it's called again. We talked about it in the past, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's gonna be developed and get more and more mainstream. And I mean, a lot of people are not concerned that their location on their phone is on, for instance, and they think that it's just normal and it's just like whatever they know my location and whatnot. And then you have next stuff that's gonna be normalized and normalized and normalized. That's why you have stuff like blame. In blame, there's lots of stuff like how can this be real and how can this be a normal thing for them, but it's essentially some things that we thought was science fiction are gonna be real and are gonna be as normal as eating bread or walking your dog out or something like that. Stuff is gonna change and we're gonna get used to more stuff that we thought was impossible just a merely 20 years ago or even
yeah,
10 years ago.
it's kind of crazy. You know, I guess people will accept many things and they will accept them faster than you would think. Uh, you know, like even here in Trinidad, you know, I see an ad going around for Cash. You know, they literally call
Mm.
the ad end cash. You can't get more obvious than this, which I have a problem with. You know, I don't
Mm.
think uh, when you use a card, somebody they know exactly what you're buying, where you're buying it from. You know, all this sort of stuff. Like I saw you've read where they found killers based on the history of what they buy.
Mm.
You know, have you ever heard of that? So like they look up somebody and then
Yeah,
they
yeah,
go,
yeah, yeah. That they
yeah,
just went to different stores to make some kind of chemical of drugs or whatnot.
right.
So a lot of
No,
criminals go to different stores to buy different things to make it less suspicious, something like
yeah,
that.
no,
Yeah, yeah,
but if they're using a card, is you know, is all moot. You know,
yeah.
and soon, even if they don't use a card, they'll have a camera, so they might see her coming out of the store with I don't know, acid or you know, extra strong tie straps, you know, extra strong cable ties, you know. Uh,
Mm.
you know, I mean, I'm not going around killing anybody, that I'll admit to,
No, no, I
but
get it. It's obviously for security reasons, due to all the serial killers and drug dealers and whatnot. People
so
that
they
want to do shit, so they updated all that stuff.
so they say they'll use that as the excuse, but you know the ratchet only gets turned one way, you know.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, it goes for both sides. I mean, it can be used for, well, literally what I just said, and can be used for, well, keeping a track of people and used for different kind of type of stuff, like what China kind of does, just tracking everything what everybody does at any moment at any time, and just reduce on how much they can do, traveling from country to country, or etc., etc., etc. So yeah, it can be used both ways. If it advances enough and it is long enough in the system, then it can go both ways, depending on who is, controlling it all at the end of the day.
yeah, and I mean, consider the competence of the people controlling it. You know, these are the people who let the bomb tumble out of the sky. You want these people, having all the information. And I can even say that I don't taking any steps to prevent it myself, because it's just so hard, because it's just so easy to fall into it. You know, I mean, you don't like sign into your Google account on a browser and all your stuff is there. Isn't that convenient? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even do without that. You know, like stuff is already expensive here, so it's not like to say people are going to be able to get. There's like these non-Android phones,
Mm-hmm.
smartphones. Yeah, but the reason that we could afford them is because they have Android on them and they're mass produced like that. If they
Mm-hmm.
weren't, we wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that is too smart for no reason. You know,
Yeah, yeah. That's what you get with technology. But oh well. I mean, mm, yeah.
with let's see but yeah, that's kind of an aside. What, like, you guys have been watching anything? Not necessarily, not
Yeah.
necessarily manga or anime related, like in Western media too.
I mean, another guy that started The Boys, if you ever heard of that, it was like a superhero comedy of like Superman, Wonder Woman, but then just a parody, just the worst versions of him, basically. The alcoholic, the egotist, the dumb bastard, etc., etc., etc. And then just these people are just drugged up as kids and just made into superheroes via this drug that they get in. And then you have what you would normally call the villains, the boys, trying to get revenge on these superheroes because they killed somebody that they knew or kidnapped them or etc. and tried to take the company down. It's a weird series. Just lots of fucked up shit happens and also lots of black humor and whatnot. And he watches
Yeah,
like now 2 seasons or something.
I supposed to check out that. I know they made like a live action one that people love a lot. You know.
Yeah, the series, yeah, I've been watching, and I guess there's now an spin-off series, like in the world of the boys, has been playing right now, but I haven't seen that yet. So, yeah, well, maybe I'll get to it. I mean, I have seen 3 seasons now, so probably season 4 will come out at some point in time. So, yeah,
Yeah, I had it. I've kind of like I gotten to appreciate reading comics and manga more, because it's kind of a low impact, low effort uh thing, if that makes sense. Like, you could
mm,
just, like, before you're going to sleep, you could just read like a book. Read like 10 chapters of a manga on a tablet. That
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, if you really want to read anything of manga, like before I go to sleep, I rather have a book because I don't have something that flashes at me or just emits lights constantly. And then just gets addicted to that and just keep going on that, or just never get to sleep. So I just see that all the time. If with
Well,
a book, you don't have that, so it's a
I
bit
tried to
easier on the eyes, or just if you want to sleep.
I try to I use the yellow light filter, and I use or the blue light filter, and I use the glasses.
That yeah, I've also that I've off on my phone.
Yeah. That's why. And I imagine having the Steam Deck is tempting to just sit down and play. You know. A lot of
Hmm.
stuff handheld.
Yeah, 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 I get. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have the. How is the Steam Deck, by the way? How is it? I don't have one, by the way. I was talking about yours.
How's
How is
my
it?
what?
The Steam Deck. How does Steam Deck
Oh,
working
Steam
out?
Deck, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I don't have. I mean, I'm using it right now for the podcast, and it still works
Oh shit!
fine.
Damn.
And you
You know
know,
what is really a good deal, especially the cheapest one. For 300, it's 300 and something dollars, right?
yeah. Well, the cheapest one you can get less games out of it. Basically, you can less download, just a bunch of indie games, and that's about it. No AAA games or anything high or something high as that. So probably the middle model of like 500 is probably the best buy because you can get a lot of indie games and some AAA games or something next to that kind of power. So you can get a little bit more out of it. And the
Well,
last one is just you get a lot less basically with it. But you mean you can expand it with the SD slot, for instance, and you can get more out of it. But
I would
it's
say though
still a
that
good console overall.
I would say that I think like if I have something that's handheld like that, I wouldn't mind so much that I would be kind of limited in terms of what I could play. Like I would be okay with indie games and well, don't forget we could still play AAA older games. You know,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you can, I mean, this thing can do emulators. Some, for now, I'm probably gonna do a version 2 of it, and I can probably do more. But yeah, you can do emulated stuff, and you can get stuff going. And obviously, you can hook it up to a bigger screen, to your TV, for instance, with a dongle, gondle, and an adapter and dongle, and then you can watch that. I mean, some people said that like the Switch is better because you can just put handles off, put them on a stand, and just play like that, or just combine them and just play them. I mean, sure, that's handy, but yeah, the Switch just doesn't have a desktop and has just less options than a Steam Deck, and I don't really
rather
mind
yeah,
it to use a
you,
dongle.
you can't install what you want, right? On the
Yeah,
Steam, on the
basically. I
Switch.
mean, if you have the desktop version, you can just do whatever you want with it basically. I mean, it's Linux, and then you have Steam Deck has also lots of games that like Xbox or PlayStation has. Some obviously not. Or you have game passes from the Xbox, so you can work on it. That works all. I wouldn't recommend to try and combine the two, like try something on a big screen and on this, because that doesn't work, trying to work at the same time. And they also have their own dock, so you can also buy their own dock and just plug it in. But you can't see anything from the Steam Deck itself, and only on the bigger screen you see it. So that's a problem. So a dongle is probably the best idea. You could just plug it in, and you can see everything on the smaller screen and on the bigger screen. So yeah, and you can move around, so you can get more out of it, obviously with a longer cable. So that's always handy with this stuff. But yeah, you can just do more, way more with it. It's not probably not never gonna be as stable as the rest, but as stable as other consoles and other stuff. But for the price, you can do a lot with it.
And you are using it as your main PC, I take it.
No, I just use it for the podcast basically because my laptop had some audio issues with like other videos that I did, and like, it doesn't really work anymore. So I just use it for the podcast and for games that can't run on any other device basically. That's what I really
Hmm.
use it for. And the laptop I use for movie nights, for instance, and research and whatnot. And then the normal PC just for, well, anything that a PC does basically.
All
But it's
right.
not a main thing. It just helps a lot with stuff I can't do in any other device basically. For
Yeah.
certain games or just
If
programs.
you want to game on the go, it's a nice device indeed.
No, yeah. You can just take it anywhere with you and just play in that. I haven't traveled with it at all. I just used it here. I could have used it. Well, I did take it on my vacation to do the podcast, and yeah, to do the podcast, I literally took it out for the podcast and nothing else because I was just busy with all the other stuff. So yeah, it was handy for that, but not much else, especially for something like that. It's just you're just busy with too much stuff, too many other cities. So yeah. Maybe someday, but I don't know. But it's pretty handy to have.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think is a good value. Like the cheapest one is 300, is it?
Yeah, around 300. Yeah.
Right,
Also,
and then
there are alternatives like that ROG Asus
Yeah. There's
Steam
a few
Deck
other ones. Yeah.
clone. Like the market has many options actually right now.
Mm, some
yeah,
say it's like there's a few features that's a bit better than the Steam Deck, or does this, the Steam Deck has and doesn't have, but still think the Steam Deck is still the better one, despite all these different versions that are out there. But hey, I mean, you never know what they are gonna make up in the future. I mean, this thing just doesn't. It's not that long around, maybe a year or two or something like that, but year and a half. But yeah.
there's
The
there's one.
Lenovo Legion Go and the Asus ROG Ally. There are two main competitors right now, apparently.
Mm.
There's one advantage, I think though, that the Steam Deck has that no one else will have. From what I understand, Valve goes in and tweaks the games specifically for that.
Yeah,
Um,
you can just in Steam Deck itself, you can lots of games are gonna be tweaked to be playable on the thing, so you can get an icon with it, like a green icon is for like the game is completely compatible. Then you have like yellow that's just half compatible and you can just tweak a bit, and you have just a question mark for it. We have no clue what to do with this game. But the majority of these games you can just download from users, just these control interfaces. And what works best on the game, and yes, this is like this like system with it, so you know when the game, so you can just tweak it like that way, and you can still play in the game if you tweak the controls enough. You can just tweak it in lots of different ways. So like every other control in this thing is customizable and can just make a game work. And one game that tried to work, but it didn't work at all. But it was just like some low budget indie game that didn't work at all. But yeah, the majority you can just customize it till the end of times, and you can just make it the best way possible. Even old 90s games, for instance, like Blood, I tried to tweak that and I got through a few levels, but the PC version is still better, obviously, because it doesn't really feel the same and it's not all that good, obviously, but because
right.
it was never meant for that.
This is a case where the controls are better on the PC.
Yeah, it's just for some games, it's just it feels better, and it's just more, it's more made for that. Basically, the games is just made for some consoles to just work better on the other one. I mean, you can probably could you get used on a Steam Deck to play them and to get fully through them, but if I already have it on a PC, why would I switch to something else? So yeah, but
Yeah,
oh well.
a lot of people kind of double dip, and they buy a version for the PC and they buy a version for Steam. I mean, and for
Mm.
Switch.
Ah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Just be
there,
on the go and
there's
have something at home.
but there's actually a few games that have cross save between PC and Switch. I don't know if you heard of that. It's kind of interesting.
I mean,
So
yeah, it's different come out on different platforms, like the game. What was it again? Uh, they came out on a
um,
few platforms. What
the
was it called again?
or The Witcher. The Witcher has cross save between
Hmm.
PC and Switch. I don't know if you know that. That's kind of interesting.
No, no, no. But anyway, there was also a game like also inspired by Blame. What was it again? I can't remember anything. The game that's Uh, it's based on the book, the King in Yellow. Yeah, the King in Yellow. It's just an android goes to a base on a different planet and tries to find somebody. Anyway, really well-known game, and that's also on different platforms. That's what I meant. But no, cross saving on different games. No, I didn't really
Yes,
know that.
that's I find this kind of interesting because, but the problem is you will have to buy two copies. You know, so
Mm,
it's like, well, as long as I have to buy two copies is the least they could do. You know,
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah,
literally the least.
yeah.
I think though that a lot of people don't like Microsoft on Xbox, but I do like that if you buy the game, you get it on both systems, PC and console. I think that's a good deal
Hmm.
because I mean, of course, it's not on the flip side, it's not a physical game though, you
No,
know.
no, 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 no.
So that kind of sucks, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well,
like
all the stuff that I've seen or played, like I played now a couple of days Iron Fury Aftershock as a DLC on the original game. If you ever played that or heard about it, it's pretty good. It's basically just going right after the story, trying to pick up the pieces and have a lot more different levels. Also, like in control a vehicle through different levels, but it actually works good. And is it as janky? There's a lot of reference to other games like Blood or like Duke Nukem because it's made on the Duke Nukem engine or like an engine. It's called the Duke Nukem engine. But it's a fun game. There's like lots of different game and lots of different levels, good art, good music, new enemies. It's pretty good. Yeah, if you
oh,
know the
could you
way.
look if you like how that looking, could you look up Silaco? I think
Sulaco?
yeah, Selaco. If you like that game.
Sulaco.
Yeah, Selaco.
S E
S
oh,
E. Uh,
S E.
no, SE. E as an egg.
Oh, S T. S T E.
No, uh, Selaco.
Probably not it. Maybe send it in the Discord or in the comments.
Yeah, that I think we were talking last time about how there's a lot of these kind of throwback games that use the old engine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of games like that that use an older engine to expand and have because PCs now have more power, so they can just do a lot more with it. Lots of mods do that too with Blood, for instance. Like we have on here, for instance, with Deathwish. He uses the old engine to the build engine to make that mod.
Just now, yeah, here's the here's the link here in the YouTube chat. So it has
Okay.
I think it's using the Doom engine.
Hmm. Okay. 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 Let me see. Hmm. Hmm. I see no link though.
In the YouTube chat?
See nothing in the private chat. Also
No,
not
no,
on the.
the chat on YouTube, on the YouTube stream.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, I thought they had it open on the computer too.
No, see nothing in the comments. Just no, probably doesn't go. Maybe try private chat. That actually works better. Or just in the Discord. That also works.
Let's see. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like that these games have like super low requirements, because they're using such ancient in Discord. They're
Yeah, you
using
can
such
just play them on anything really. So, yeah, it's just also for my PC. It's also like really just a normal office PC. It's also really easy, but I can just play them those games really easy. Yeah, except a few others, I guess. Just a bit more high res that doesn't really work, or just put the less just low enough that I can play it and actually see what the fuck I'm playing. So, but yeah, I can see. Oh, select. Oh, okay. Select all. Okay. That's why I play so many old FPS games, because they work so well on my computer, and I can get hours of content out of it. Oh, okay. No, I haven't played this one.
yeah, that might be another one to add to your list because it's I think it's in the vein of a lot of things that you like. You
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah, and I always say every time we talk, I say I'm glad that campaigns are back as being a thing that people focus on. You know, and
Yeah.
I mean on the PS3 generation, they wanted to put a multiplayer aspect to everything. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean they added one to God of War. How the hell could God of War have a multiplayer mode? You know,
Mm.
this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess it was just a trend at the time, so they just tried to get as many people now that they wanted. And now you have like a new Halo game that has no multiplayer. Like everybody's like, "What the fuck?" It was like the best stuff out of that. Just the total opposite of this.
Oh, you mean people going back to campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I really think that but then some people, I hear people saying that a lot of the high profile campaigns are becoming too similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially Sony stuff. You have one character, a kind of main character, and then you have a side character. Last of Us and
Mm-hmm.
and that whole dad and father and kid mechanic. Last of Us and God of War, and I mean, but then there's a indie game called, did I mention an indie game called Eastward? Eastward.
East Eastwood.
Eastward. W
East World.
East
Mm,
WARD. Eastward.
East what?
Yeah, like going towards the east. Yeah, that's all.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Have you heard of Zorch? It's also a weird small game. It's also CV11 talked about it. Let me see it. Mm, this one is also a really bizarre game. Just an FPS, a retro FPS game. It's a callback radio FPS game. It's also recently new. It's a bit like Quake but different. It's
Yeah, I like the chunky polygons, you know.
yeah, CV11 made a video about that, so maybe watch that and you can be up to date with that. But yeah, that's interesting stuff. And what was the other game that you had?
Um, EASTWARD, Eastward.
Mm,
That's all.
EST. Maybe post that too in the Discord.
Yeah, that's nice. I get it. Yeah, you can check out that.
Eastwards. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like you could look at it and kind of see the influence of Last of Us, you know, just by looking at the two characters, the two main characters.
Yeah. It's a bit of a top-down shooter. Hmm. Some nice artwork.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that's a lot of people, you know, that's kind of what drew them to it in the first place.
Hmm. Yeah, a bit European-esque kind of style. Alright. Yeah, come out on the Switch and other stuff. Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah,
Why
and it could
not?
even it could run on almost anything, you know. Well, I mean, look at it. But what I like is
It's
that
a pixel game.
yeah, I mean, I like that what it is. I like that so many games focusing on art direction and having, you know, art direction ahead of just the like heavy graphics, you know.
Yeah.
Like people, you know, obsessed with ray tracing these days, but sometimes it's like they
Different
can't.
styles also good.
Yeah, but and also they can't even run half of these games with full ray tracing because it's just so heavy. Like I don't think they're ready.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
get what you mean. I get what you mean. Lots of these games I only can do on my Steam Deck and nowhere else, or just PS4. I can do some games if I have the room for it, but yeah, no. I get it. Lots of different art styles. You can also lots of different, you know, rates and yeah.
Koma, have you ever you into any of these kind of retro style games or like actual retro games?
I mean, not this kind of games specifically.
Did you ever? What was what did you guys play when it was you know, when these retro systems were new?
You mean?
Like at the time on Sega, like what was big? Sega Genesis was big.
For the Sega Genesis, all the classics like Quackshot, Altered Beast, what else? Mega Man: The Wily Wars. I was lucky enough to have a copy of that.
Yeah, that's a rare one, right? That's a rare one, from what I understand.
Mortal Kombat also. The first Mortal Kombat games were on the Sega Mega Drive. and
Streets of Rage.
that also, but I haven't played much of that. There are many Disney games like one of
A lot.
Mickey Mouse and The Lion King for the Sega Mega Drive also. And then the first Nintendo, all the classic Super Mario Bros. My cousin had an NES back in the day, and I've played that and Quackshot and other games. I don't remember which ones, but I played the most famous ones probably. And then most of my games were on the PlayStation when it came out. Tekken, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Medieval, the first Final Fantasy games for the PlayStation 7, 8, 9, other JRPG like Suikoden 2, The Legend of Dragoon, the Legaia games. I'm forgetting so many games. Xenogears, although I have played that years later. I don't know if you have played Xenogears for the PlayStation.
That is one that is on the two playlist, but I know it's not an easy one. It's not an easy. It's not a pick up and play kind of game. It's an investment, I think.
I mean, it's an old style JRPG. We have random battles. Like the encounter rate is kind of annoying, and also the platform elements could be frustrating. And I definitely recommend to play it with a gamepad if you play it on the PC. But I mean, of course, it has aged, and but the story it's really good. It's the best story I ever seen on a game, on a video game.
I look at a lot of retrospectives, and people always talk about how ambitious that one was. Maybe a little too ambitious because of the I know the second disc is a lot of talking without gameplay, from what I understand.
Yeah, because it was an ambitious project. It was they planned to make more games, but in the end they couldn't, and also they had budget problems, which is why the second disc of the game doesn't have much the same content as the first one. It's basically like a visual novel in many parts. There are some dungeons to explore, but why? There is a noise. I don't know why.
Wind
Yeah,
or
it's
something?
The wind, yeah.
Oh no, I just saying it.
Mm-hmm.
They on PS1, my favorite was Chrono Cross, the sequel of Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely one I played. I played that. I don't usually replay a lot of games, but I definitely replayed that one.
Yeah, that is also one of the most famous JRPG for the PlayStation 1. The first Valkyria profile also. I don't know if you ever played
Yeah.
that.
I remember it was that is also on the playlist. I remember it was a little bit controversial because it was using sprites and 2D artwork.
Yeah.
But ironically, it made it age better, I think.
Yeah, because back in the day, the 2D was pretty much fully mature for video games, but 3D was still new, and the console like the PlayStation or the Sega Saturn couldn't push too much polygons, which is why today's those games didn't age as well as I don't know, a PlayStation 2 game, which is way more detailed, way more polygons. But still, the first PlayStation has many great games. My favorite maybe is Suikoden 2. Maybe the best
Yeah.
JRPG ever made, as along with Xenogears.
Yeah, I know that is a soundtrack too.
Mm. Mm.
A good soundtrack. I know it have a legendary soundtrack, and
Yeah.
and and the fans are like it probably has the most dedicated fans. I think Suiko hardcore fans, I should say. Some of the most hardcore fans are the fans of Suikoden.
Yeah, the second game especially is regarded as being one of the best JRPG that came out for the first PlayStation, and in general one of the best JRPG ever made
And
all across. Yeah.
a huge cast of characters from what I remember too.
Mm.
A huge cast from like
Yeah,
almost
you could recruit 108 characters in each game, and depending on how many characters you collect and the choices you make, because you can make the choices in and had like multiple endings, bad endings, and stuff. You can alter the course of action. Of course, to some extent, it's not that much. Like you don't have the same freedom you have with a Western RPG, like I don't know, the first Neverwinter Night, like a D&D based game. It's another beast entirely compared to a JRPG like Suikoden, but still also you don't basically the main character, you choose the name. The, there are canon names, but generally it's like without a personality. You choose what to do with choices
so,
as long as when you proceed with the story.
are they able to flesh out a lot of those characters? Because that was Chrono Cross only had about 40, but even they had trouble fleshing out the characters. And I remember because games with a lot of characters tend to have that problem. It's difficult to flesh out each one. And
Mm,
in Chrono Cross, um, some of the characters have really in-depth stories, and some have barely any at all. If
yeah,
that makes sense.
in Suikoden it's the same. Of course, some characters have more screen times than others, but I mean it's part of the game. You can't expect to have a in-depth characterization of 108 characters.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, it would take so much time to do that.
yeah, and imagine making the art for all of that. Because even making the art is because there's 160 portraits, 160 uh sprite sets,
Yeah, I mean, not the biggest of the deals, but mm,
But yeah, well, let's not go over 2 hours, or else we're like 2.5 hours in here. This is also a bit
you are
long,
tired.
I would say. Yeah.
We are tired. All right. Well,
Okay. So, well, that's it for this day. We can see you over 2 weeks or something, or whenever it'll be. And see you next time. Subscribe and whatnot. Bye.
bye bye.
later. Bye.